Hello everyone, it is Miss Starling in the studio, and I welcome all of you crafters and artists and misfits. And I'm a misfit, and so we'll just have some fun together, I hope. And so today I thought we would make some beautiful envelopes out of just sheets of paper. Just, a single sheet of paper, we can make a real quick and fun envelope. And what I've done is I've chosen some of the botanical pages that I have collected from 3 different books. I have some large paper, and so when you have a large sheet of paper, you're going to probably get larger images. And then I have medium size, and the images are a little bit smaller, and smaller still with small size. And so these are real fun, and they're just really simple to make. If you've got some darling young girls that you want to do a project with, this would just be absolutely perfect for them. And so I'm going to show you how I made these, and these are 2 of my large ones. Those are the front and the back. Then I have these medium-sized ones, and there's the front and the back, the front and the back, the front and the back. And then I have a whole bunch of these little ones that are a little bit different in many respects, and you see I've done some extra embellishing on them, and we'll deal with that when we get to that section. And so yeah, these were just really fun and very quick. And so if you want something that's just real relaxing to do, and you don't want to have to think too much about it and just let it happen, this is the project for you. So I'll get these examples out of the way and we'll get started. So here are some of my book pages. Now, these are examples I've pulled out from my smaller book, and then I have these examples from the medium-sized book. Wait. These may be cropped down pages from this. It's been a while since I did this, so I don't really remember. So these are the pages from the medium-sized book, and so I found these I thought would really be fun, and there were some black and white pages in there, and I thought, well, let's do some black and white, at least one. And so I, just randomly pulled out a bunch that looked like they would be fun to use. And now I'll get rid of the rest of the pages from that group. And then I pulled out these pages from the really large book that I have. And so these will be really fun to do. And although some of these I probably won't want to use, because, something like this would be a great fussy cut ephemera piece to attach to something else that I'm also planning on doing. So anyway, we'll get to that. And so I'm going to get rid of, you see all these pages are from a great book. And so now we're left with these. So we'll start with a large one first, and that'll be the easiest probably for you to see. And this is a good one to start with, and then go from there. So there's going to be 2 folds, and we want the, before I do that, hang on a second. I forgot, I have a whole bunch of these scissors that I used on my examples. So what we're going to do first is, just pick a design. If you don't have any of these kind of scissors, don't worry about it. You'll just wind up with straight edges instead of, curly cute edges like I'm going to be doing here. So some of the scissors don't work too well, so I kind of put them off and haven't done that much with them, but this particular pair seems to cut pretty nicely and it's not too hard on my hand. I'm just going up along even with where the design begins and ends on the top and the bottom of the page and on each side. And that way I get, I don't have the borders of the pages on my envelopes. It's just a little cleaner looking, I think. So if you don't have these kind of scissors, just use your own regular scissors and cut away the outer borders of your page. Now the thing is, when we make our first fold, we don't want the design to be upside down. And so I'm not going to fold it that way. I'm going to turn the page around to the other side with the text reading down that way. And I'm going to make my first fold this way so that everything is facing up. So I'm going to make the fold about 2/3 of the way up. And it doesn't really matter that much where you place it, except that you'll probably want the bottom part of your envelope to be bigger than the flap. So then I just bring it on around and I'm going to fold down just before I get to the edge. That's where I'll make that second fold. Okay, how easy and quick was that? So now I've got the basics of my envelope made, and you open the flap, and now all I've got to do is I'm first going to use some, ink the sides. That helps give a definition, and then I'll also show you what you might also want to consider doing. So I'm going to go around with my distress ink here and just darken these edges. The design will show up a little better that way, and also it helps make it look a little more vintage. Okay, so that's done, and I'm not going to worry about doing anything to the inside. I have a plain section up here, which that could be text. It really doesn't matter. If you want to cover that over with something, you can, but in my particular case, I'm not going to. And then I'm just going to do that down. Now, before I glue anything, however, I'm going to run a little bit of paper lace down there. And so I printed off a whole bunch of different patterns of lace, and you want to print it off in roughly paper that's about the same thickness as the book page that you're using. And so this is thicker than a typical copy paper. So I'm using a little bit of cardstock, and this is 65-pound cardstock. And so I'm just going to cut off a piece of whichever one I think I'll like. We'll just start with this one right here. If you print these on the landscape orientation on your printer, you can get a longer strip that will do it just nicely. Okay, now on this side, I want to cut around this scalloped part of the lace. If you don't have any or a way to make your own paper lace, you know, just use real lace. It's totally up to you. Embroidery lace, or you know, the regular machine sewn lace, or if you're someone like my grandmother who knit lace all the time, you know, it's just what you have on hand. Okay, so I'm going to glue this to the back of that and just let a little bit of that lace peek out at the bottom. So I think I'll glue it first before I cut off the edge, so I make sure I don't cut off too much. And here we go. So now, if that's all you're going to do to it, and that's all you really need to, there's plenty of design on there, although you can put more ephemera on if you choose. But so now, all we're going to do is take the front piece and run some glue from the fold on up to the end. And then just press it down. And you're done. Isn't that gorgeous? So you could add some text up there, some numbers, a person's name, and flip it over, and it's, you know, really beautiful all the way around. And of course you can store things inside the envelope. So that's our first one. Let's try a smaller one next. Okay, pull out all my sheets. Guess that was it. Okay. I'm looking for imagery that is mostly on the smaller side, because I want to get as much of that on the envelope as I can. And I also don't want to use up something really big that I might want to use as ephemera to glue down on something else. So, for instance, this particular flower there, it's a nice big solid piece that would be great to cut out to use as a glue down ephemera. So I'm going to, I think I'll do one in the black and white. We can see how that works out. And then I like this one. So again, take a pair of designer type. Let's see how these scissors work. Hopefully they'll do well. How's everybody doing? I hope you're all well and prospering. It doesn't have to be botanical paper, by the way. You can use anything that's full of imagery. Or not. You know, it just depends on how busy or decorated you want your image, you know, the final envelope to be. And let's pick a different pair of scissors for this one. See how these work. But what a great craft to do with a young person. So easy, and they'll be so delighted and tickled with what they're able to make. And, you know, just let them have at it. Okay, and I'm going to ink around all my edges. These would be great too, you know, as stuffer pieces for your journals. Quick and easy to make. You could put, you know, other ephemera inside the envelope, like, you know, tags and art cards and things of that nature. There we go. Okay, now remember, you want your text going the opposite way, so upside down from you, so that when you fold this up, your design is going to be directional. You know, it will be facing you and not upside down. So I'm going to go about that far up. And then I'll paste it, or fold it back down about that far. Okay, and so I've got this wonderful little envelope, And pretty much all I have to do at this point is, you know, I might add some lace or not. Maybe I won't with this one. And, you know, so then if I'm not going to do anything else to it, it's just a matter of gluing down my sides. You can also sew around the sides and the bottom to, you know, make sure that it doesn't pull apart, especially if you're going to tuck something inside it. So all you would do is, you know, open up your flap, and then what I do is I start on this end, and I just sew all the way down and across and down and across on the flap, and I'm done. You don't have to do the flap. You could just, you know, sew the sides and the bottom, or leave the bottom, just do the sides, whatever you want to do. So that's what that looks like. And so this one, yeah, this one I'm going to fold up maybe a little higher so that I can get most of the image on. Maybe kind of do it up about there. And that's how that one turned out. And that's the back. So I think I will put some lace on this one, and I think I will cut off maybe this darker brown one right up in here. This time I think I'm going to run my glue on the lace itself, because I want a little more of the lace to show this time, and I think it'll be a little easier to position it. So I'm going to just run a bead along there, and then attach my envelope to it this way. Yeah, and that gives me a nice change of pace between the edge of the flap and the envelope itself. So I think maybe I might even do a little more decorating on this, but I think I'm going to go ahead and glue it for the video, and then we'll see. Yep. Okay, Hang on just a minute. I'll be right back. I'm going to see what I can find that I might want to dress both of these up so you can see how, some other ideas of, what you might want to do further in taking your design to the nth degree. So let me look through my stash and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I found what I'm going to do. I'm not going to go crazy with this, just something a little simple. So I have this little piece of ephemera that was stamped out professionally. I bought a whole pack of these. You can find them at Amazon. I'll see if I can come up with a link to where I got them from. Anyway, I'm just going to glue this on, but I'm going to put part of it off. So I'm just going to put my glue on this bottom section. This is a rather thick cardstock, so it should hold up fine, hanging out in the middle of the air. And I'm laying it in there asymmetrically and just pressing it down. So yeah, I like that. I first thought, well, maybe I just would do something black and white, but I just felt like I needed a pop of color. And so that's how that turned out, which I think is pretty cool and very unusual. And yours will all look very different and unusual depending on what, kind of pages, the designs on the pages that you pull out to use. So there's that one. And now with this one, instead of, I thought I would leave it alone, but on second thought I think I'll put some fabric down on this one. And so I'm going to run a line of glue along the back of the flap, a thin line because I'm going to let most of this fabric on this swatch show. And let's see, I'm going to put this plain side down, so hopefully you can still see the design on the paper against a more solid color fabric. Just pull that out just a bit, a little bit of that orange show. And I've got a nice frayed edge there. And just snip off this part of the fabric. Yeah. And there. We've got nice definition between the envelope and the flap. And it's very colorful. I just really didn't want to add too much more to it because it's so busy and colorful already. But I did decide, I don't know why, I just like putting the word journal on everything. And so I found this little snippet of the word in my stash. And let's see, I think I'll go on this side so I don't cover that over. And just gonna glue this down. So just look around in your stash and see what you have that you can use to embellish it further, or just leave it plain, whatever you choose to do. And there we go with that one. So I hope you get the idea. I had little ones here, but I think we're running out of time, and I wouldn't do these any different. They're just the same. You just wind up with your images maybe a little bit smaller to fit with a smaller scale. So what do I do with them? I had this one, and this one, and this one. And yeah, very fun, very simple, very quick. I probably should jazz this one up a bit more now that I've done more with these two. So I'll probably do that as well. Anyway, thanks for sticking with me. I hope you've enjoyed this, and if you have and found it helpful to you, please give the video a like and a comment. Let me know what you think and what you're doing, and that would be fun. And visit my Etsy shop if you're looking for resources, to help you with your projects, this or any other thing. And yeah, thanks for being here. And so this is Miss Darling calling this a wrap. Bye-bye.